Hi friends, welcome to our online course on non-conventional machining. In today's lecture, we are going to learn about chemical machining. In this lecture, we'll cover introduction of chemical machining, then setup for chemical machining. Further, we'll go for detailed discussion about different steps for chemical machining, what are the process parameters. Then in continuation of this, we'll discuss different methods of applying maskants. At last, we'll highlight on advantages, limitations, and application. Let us start with the first point, that is the introduction. In ancient days, this process was used by artists for engraving the metals. However, they were unaware of how the process worked. Chemical machining is a process used for material removing purpose by dissolution in a controlled manner from the workpiece by the application of acidic or alkaline solution, that is etchant. Now their maskants, that is a chemical resistant coating, are used to cover the surfaces which are not to be machined. Maskants are the materials which do not allow etchant to penetrate through to reach the work material to dissolve it. This technique is quite useful for producing complex configurations in delicate parts that other would get damaged by the application of forces in case of the conventional machining process. So this is about the introduction. Let us move for the next point, that is a setup for the chemical machining. So here in this figure I have shown the setup which is used for chemical machining, which involves various steps. Okay, so that steps we are going to cover now. In this figure I have shown the workpiece. On that we have to include the B letter. Okay, for that we require the etchant, and before that we have to go for the masking also. Okay, again we have to dip the our workpiece in the container which include the etchant. Okay, so this is a setup for the chemical machining. So in this chemical machining we have to follow the different steps. Let us discuss that step. First step is the we have to clean the workpiece with alkaline solution, and then we have to wash with the fresh water. Okay, then we have to apply a thin coating of maskant by cut and peel method, or screen method, or by photoresist method. Okay, so these methods we are going to cover in next slide. Then third step is we have to dip the workpiece in the etchant bath and let it be there for the desired duration of the time. Then we have to take out the workpiece from the etchant bath, and we have to remove the maskant layer if any, and at last we have to wash the workpiece thoroughly under the fresh water. Then we will get the finished product. Now these are the standard steps for the chemical machining. Okay, now in chemical cleaning, that is first step. Why it is necessary? Because to ensure the proper adhesion of the masking material on the workpiece. In case of demonding of maskant, stray itching would occur. So the type of cleaning, it may be vapor degrading or alkaline etching, etc. to be used depend on upon the kind of maskant and the kind of workpiece and required machined depth. Okay, so however cleaning of this porous workpiece material is rather difficulty, okay, for the chemical machining. So to avoid uneven material removal from the workpiece, the precision we have to use either continuously spread, or the component we have to submerge in the etchant tank. Okay, so again to increase the material removal rate, okay, etchant is agitated, and if necessary we have to heat the that etchant also. Now the strength of the etchant contaminated with the reaction reaction products can be maintained by proper filtration, then addition of new chemical, as well as by periodically replacing a certain percent of the used etchant by the fresh one. Okay, so material removal during this chemical machining takes place both downward and lateral from the exposed area. So this I have shown in the second figure. So there you can see the that how we can remove the material from the downward and lateral area. Okay, the whatever the material removed from the upper side, so that first one we can say depth of cut or machined depth. Okay, while the lateral it is called the undercut. In the second figure you can see depth of cut we have shown here, and undercut also. The extent of the undercut depend upon the factors like depth of cut, the type of strength of the etchant, and the workpiece material. Okay, from process design point of view, the quantification of undercut is quite important. So this can be done by uh, one factor, that is each factor, and that each factor you can calculate by using the formula, that is undercut divided by the machined depth. So total machined depth and extent of the undercut are controlled by the controlling the immersion time in the etchant. Okay, to avoid the non-uniform machining, gas bubbles being involved during the process should not be allowed to get trapped. Okay, when etching is over, the part are cleaned either mechanically in case of the thicker and more durable mask, or chemically you can wash. Okay, that is more appropriate for the thinner mask and sophisticated parts. So this all procedure I have shown in the figure number 1. Okay, so in step 1 you have to take the workpiece, okay, which is chemically cleaned. Then we have to apply the mask. Okay, then we have to go for the uh, etching process, and at the last, that is the step number 4, you will get the our final product. Okay, now the performance of chemical machining process is affected by the many process parameters, which are types of etchant, temperature of etchant, type of maskant, and method of applying the maskant, and method of circulating the etchant. Okay, so surface finish produced during the chemical machining is about 0.75 to 3.75 micron. So this is about the process parameter. Now let us discuss about the maskant. Actually, maskants are the substances which are used in the chemical machining for the protecting surface from chemical etching, okay, by etchant. So these maskants are basically of three types, or we can say methods of applying maskant. The first method is the cut and peel method, second is the screen printing, and third one is the photoresist maskant. So these are the techniques, or we can say methods or maskant. Now let us discuss in detail one by one. Now first is the cut and peel method. So in cut and peel maskants, we have to use nephron, butyl, or vinyl based materials, okay, which are applied by either dipping the component in the tank or spraying the mask on the part, or we can go for the flow coating also. The thickness of coating usually ranges from 0.025 to 0.13 mm. Okay, so this maskant is first we have to apply to the entire surface, then it is cut and peel off from the selected area to be exposed to the etchant. So here I have shown the figure of the cut and peel maskant. So from figure you will get the, now here the scraping and peeling of the maskant is easily done by the hand using the uh, template as a guide. Okay, so because of large thickness of the layer of maskant, etching can be done as deep as up to 13 but accuracy is not high. Usually you will get accuracy plus minus 0.13 to plus minus 0.75 and it is usually depend upon the size and type of the component being produced. Okay, then time of etching, which is control the depth, okay, to which material removal takes place. Okay, so this characteristic has been used to produce a taper on a workpiece. In case of cut and peel maskant, okay, rescrubbing is possible. Okay, this characteristic has been used to produce a stepped component. Okay, the general application of these techniques are large size workpiece which are used in chemical industries, aircraft industries, missile industries, etc. Okay, this technique is good for batch size production as well as for the products with a larger depth, more than the 1.5 okay, which is to be etched. Okay, so again one more example I have shown here. Now in second example I have shown, we have to engrave the letter B on the workpiece, okay, using the cut and peel maskant technique. Okay, so you can see here in 3 steps I have shown. Now let us move for the next maskant or technique, that is a screen printing. Okay, this technique is good for high volume production with low accuracy, comparatively low etching depth, okay, less than 1.5 and for part size normally not more than 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter. In this method, a screen, usually stainless steel is used. Okay, the screen has the area blocked off, are to be selectively etched. Then we have to press the screen against the surface of the part and we have to roll up the maskant. Now you have to remove the screen and dry the part by baking. The exposed or we can say unmasked area is the one from which material is to be etched. Okay, so this is about the screen printing. Let us discuss about the last technique or maskant, that is a photo resist maskant. This technique has become very common nowadays and it is also called photochemical machining, PCM. This method is used to produce complicated but accurate shape. Okay, in this method again we have to follow the some successive operations which is we have to be carried out. So first step or we can say operation is the we have to prepare the enlarged drawing of the part accounting for the effect of undercut. Then we have to go for the photograph the artwork and produce the reduced highly accurate photographic master transparency. That is a, or we can we have the alternative to this procedure is to use the laser pattern generator, which receives the design data from the CAD system and images or produces the feature directly onto the photo master film. Okay, then third operation is the we have to the part to be chemical machined is thoroughly we have to clean to remove the dirt and oxides. Then we have to apply a thin coating of photoresist, that is a light activated agent resistant material. Okay, and we have to dry by the baking only. Then we have to hold the photomaster and workpiece together in intimate contact. Then throw the small or we can say the strong UV light through the photomaster on the workpiece so that after development the coating is removed from the all areas where etching is to be takes place. Then the part are not chemical etching, stripped of residual photoresist and we have to go for the inspection. Then accuracies of point not 25 and repeatability of the point not 5 are possible with the help of this technique. This is about the PCM technique or photoresist maskant. Okay, so now as we have seen the different techniques applying the maskant, now we'll discuss about the choice of maskant. Now it is depend upon the different factors. In that, that maskant should be resistant to the etchant. It should be easily removable after machining is over. Then it should not have any chemical effect on the workpiece. That is important, and it should be stable at the high temperature of the etchant bath. Okay, so these are the this is about the choice of the maskant. Now here in the second column in this slide, I have shown table regarding the maskant material for the various chemical machinery materials. So this table I have taken from the one literature. Here you can say for different work material you can use the different masking material. For example, for aluminum and alloy we can go for the polymer, butyl rubber and neoprene. Okay, or for nickel material you can go for the neoprene. For copper and alloy you can go for the polymer. So these are the different masking materials with respect to different workpiece material. Let us discuss about the etchant. Etchant dissolve the metal by changing it into a metallic salt. Okay, that goes into the solution. Some of the etchant are the APCl3. Okay, this can be used for aluminum, copper, nickel and their alloys. Then we have the second, that is APNO3 for the AG. Then we have the HF for titanium and HNO3 for tool steel. Okay, other etchant used are chromic acid and ammonium persulfate. Okay, while selecting etchant, the factor that should be considered are surface finish, material removal rate, then depth of penetration, type of workpiece, type of maskant, damage to the workpiece by etchant, then availability and cost. These factors or points we need to consider during the selection of the etchant. Now again second table. So here we can see we have the column about the workpiece. Then in second column I have mentioned the etchant, which maskant we can use and what will the etching rate and what will be the etch factor. So take example of the aluminum. So for aluminum you can use etchant as APCl3 or NaOH, and polymer you can use as a maskant. So that time you can keep each rate between 0.013 to 0.025 mm per minute, and you can take each factor 1.5 to 2. Okay, so this is a statistic about the different workpiece and corresponding etchant maskant and their etching rate. Okay, so again this data I have taken from the one research paper. Now we'll discuss about the advantages and limitations of this chemical machining. Chemical machining can remove the metal uniformly. It is also possible to make tapered sheet and structure member with close tolerances and good surface finish. Also, highly skilled operators are not required for the chemical machining. Now, this process has certain limitations also. So, in that, only a few metals can be machined by this process because it is not possible to find appropriate etchant and maskant for the other materials. Evolved gases collect under the maskant and result in a uneven etching of the work. So this is a drawback. Such gases, when they came out of the system, it will attack the surrounding equipment. Okay, so during this process MRR is very low. Okay, so chemicals used are corrosive in nature and may be toxic as well. So as a result, it may be harmful. Again, one more limitation is that in case of this chemical machining of the alloys, differential machining rates results in poor surface finish. Further, MRR goes down because of the etchant get contaminated with the reaction product. So these are the limitations. Now we'll discuss the last part, that is the applications of chemical machining. Okay, so this technique is quite useful for producing complex configurations in delicate parts that otherwise would be damaged by the application of forces in case of the conventional machining process. Again, this chemical machining process is used in many industries, which are aviation industries for making aircraft wing panel, then for the PC printed circuit boards, jewelries. So these parts we can produce using this chemical machining. It is also used to manufacture of very thin laminations without burr. Other applications include larger turbine engine uh, components. Okay, uh, so this is got from the literature survey. Again, milling of spun aluminum, pressure vessel, bulkheads, and also shuttle components also. It is also this technique. It is useful for the finishing of the parts to close tolerance and to achieve the precision fits also. Some sheets metal components are manufactured by chemical machining in place of the welding and riveting also. So chemical milling and chemical blanking are the two most common versions of chemical machining. During chemical milling, the material is removed to produce the blind, the detail, that means the detail pockets and channels, etc., or to reduce the weight. And during the chemical blanking, the details that usually penetrate the metal, that is the holes, slot, etc., are produced. This is also the process of blanking complete parts from the sheet by chemical etching. Okay, by chemical etching of the periphery of the desired shape. Okay, so these are the different applications of chemical machining. Okay, this is about the chemical machining. Thanks for the watching this video. uh, for watching more videos, please subscribe our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook also. Thank you.
Hopefully you might have enjoyed the lecture. Then please do like the video and know your thoughts in comments. Please do share this video among your friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. After subscription you can press the bell icon to never miss the notification regarding our new videos. Thank you so much.